In the previous demo, we saw how the Kafka node pools prototype works with a Kafka cluster, which is based on a ZooKeeper. In this demo, we will have a look at what the node pools bring when running a Kafka cluster, which is running in the KRaft mode without ZooKeeper. First, we will again check the cluster operator deployment and check the feature gates which are enabled there. In this case, because we will be using the KRaft mode, we need to make sure that the use KRaft feature gate is enabled together with the Kafka node pools feature gate. That seems to be fine, so we can proceed with the deployment. Let's first check the YAML. Again, we have the Kafka resource, which has some of these fields defined, but because it's just a prototype, they are defined there and ignored during the deployment. That applies for the replicas and the storage, as well as for the ZooKeeper section. What's more interesting is the Kafka node pool configuration. As you can see, I have here now a Kafka node pool called controllers, which specifies that the roles of these nodes will be controllers. And then I have a second node pool, which is called brokers, which specifies that the roles of these nodes should be just brokers for sending and receiving messages from regular clients. If you would want, you can of course also mix these roles together to create architecture with nodes which are both brokers and controllers at the same time. But that's already possible without this prototype, so that's why I'm showing a separate controller and broker pool. So let's apply this resource. And when I switch to the next tab where I'm watching the pods, you can see that both the controller and broker pods are already spinning up. There's no ZooKeeper because we don't need it. We just have to wait for these pods to get ready. You can see that the controllers are ready. The brokers are now ready as well. And we should now get the entity operator deployed as well. And then everything should be complete. Here comes the entity operator, and that will be it. Let's have a quick look inside one of these pods. And what I can do is I can check the broker properties file and the configuration it has. And what you can see here is that in the KRaft configuration section, the process roles are set to controller only, exactly as we specified in the node pool specification. If I check one of the broker pods, I can see the same, but this time the process roles are set to only the broker role, because this now is working only as a broker. So that's it. That's how you can use the node pools to deploy the Kafka cluster with its different architectures.